Well, hi again, this is Dr. Michael Bogart, welcoming you back to our video series, Exploring World Religions. In this sixth series of videos, we'll be looking at one of the true world religions, Buddhism. So before we begin, you may wonder what I mean when I say that Buddhism is a true world religion. By that, I don't mean that Buddhism is necessarily better than other religions or even that it has more interesting ideas. I simply mean that Buddhism is one of the three religions, Islam and Christianity are the other two, that has been able to move beyond its original culture and religious content to have a widespread appeal around the globe. Buddhism began in northern India and Nepal, but has since moved into China, Japan, Korea, and Southeast Asia. In the same way, Christianity began in Israel and Islam began in Saudi Arabia, and both have spread worldwide. So the three truly world religions are Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism. With that in mind, in this first clip of Series 6, we'll take a fast look at the remarkable life of the man who became the Buddha. So let's get started with Buddha's life. He was born as Siddhartha of the Gautama family. His father ruled a large domain in northern India and Nepal. Because of his inherited wealth and status, he grew up enjoying all of the luxuries and privileges of life in that time and region. But it seems that the young prince was not satisfied with the luxuries of court. Since infancy, his parents had done everything they could to prevent Siddhartha from seeing the ugly side of life. His father was determined that the young man not be tempted to think deeply about the meaning of life in any way. So every move Siddhartha made was carefully cleansed and choreographed of any signs of pain, suffering, or ugliness. Talk about a sheltered childhood. Well, it just goes to show that parental sheltering can never be completely successful, because one day, Siddhartha rode out of the palace on the spur of the moment before his handlers could cleanse the approved route of his outing. And what he encountered on the streets and roadsides of his country deeply, deeply shocked him. He was simply unprepared for dealing with life as it really can be for so many people. According to his own account, he saw what he called the four passing sights: a sick man, an old man, a corpse, and a religious monk. As he pondered what he saw, he came to the interpretation that these sights represented the true human condition of universal misery and the solution to the problem of suffering. To Siddhartha, it seemed clear that the root of the human condition is disease, the decrepitude of age, and death. And then he also realized that some have sought a solution to this condition by choosing a path toward eternal answers beyond the everyday experience. That would be the monk. His realization led to what Buddhists call the Great Renunciation. He renounced his wealth and status, his young wife and child, his clothing and belongings, and set out on a 7-year quest to find the answer to human suffering. In his quest, he sat under 6 teachers, one of whom could have actually been Mahavira, the founder of Jainism. They lived about the same time in the same region. But although he confronted suffering head-on and learned a whole lot about self-denial, he remained unsatisfied with the answers that his gurus gave. At one point, he nearly starved himself to death after eating only 2 grains of rice per day for many days. And when his fellow monks revived him, he walked away from his teachers, vowing to sit under a peepal tree until he attained enlightenment. And there he sat for 6 weeks in deep meditation until he achieved a breakthrough in which he claimed to have transcended earthly knowledge. Now, out of this experience, he went back to his fellow monks and began to preach what he had found. They asked him, "Have you become a god?" He simply answered, "No. It's just that now I'm awake." And the title Buddha simply means the awakened one. Buddha preached and traveled widely for nearly 50 years, and he founded the Sangha, or religious community of followers. He is said to have died in his 80s from food poisoning. And today Buddhism spans much of the globe and is made up of several branches that interpret his teachings in very different ways. Okay, that's plenty for clip 1 of Series 6. We'll pick up this overview of Buddhism in clip 2 by looking more closely at Buddha's teachings and a question that people often wonder about, and that is the universe that we perceive around us even real? Buddha's going to answer that question in clip 2. So until then, this is Dr. Michael Bogart for the Exploring World Religions series.